First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Ba'Shem Rakal Kadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, who teach this truth in sincerity, and shout out to Akim that's going out there on the streets proclaiming this truth and risking your lives to do so, as we know that the Israeli state has struck Syria again, and Benjamin Notajew is about to make a speech because he is furthering his terrorism against Iran. If you hadn't caught the WWE Greatest Royal Rumble event over the weekend, well, in that one it shows Saudi Arabia and these new wrestlers. It was a scene, and you know that wrestling often plays politics, because even you heard Randy Savage talk about how they were going to bring down the Twin Towers back in the 80s. And when the Twin Towers shall come crashing down, you know. So we know that they play politics, you know, because Esau puts hints in there. So Israeli state is going to use Saudi Arabia directly to come against Iran, you know, which is Persia, which is the whole reason for the whole war on Yemen to begin with. Because we know that Iran, Persia, you know, is kind of, you know, trying to bring peace to the Middle East, but the Israeli state, Amalek, cannot have that. So the Israeli state has struck Syria, and in fact, I showed in the prior video the structural damage, which is right there. You can get the pictures right there off of, I think RT has it, but if not, though, I showed you the pictures of the actual structural damage caused by the Zionists who call themselves Jews, and these were F-35 jets that had flown into Syria undetected, because Israeli state often brags about how they were able to fly into Iran undetected. You know, and Israeli state, Amalek, has always put that out there, that, you know, they could do whatever they want at any time and no one could stop us. That, hey, you know, Russia can threaten United States, but Israeli state can do whatever it wants to, you know, that there's no limit on strikes or anything. So they're going to continue to escalate this, and, you know, the least of their flock shall draw them out. And we can see that happening. So I'm going to continue in Joel chapter 3, as we know that it's talking about this. And starting in verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened, and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, which is where, right there in Syria, in Iran, and all that area. For there I will sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The vats overflow, for the wickedness is great. You know, and pretty much this is where he's judging all of those outside Israel, but especially Amalek, those fake-ass fucking Jews. Put ye in the sickle for her... Oh, wait, I already read that. Multitudes, multitudes, in the valley of decision. For the day of Yahweh is near, in the valley of decision. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Thus, this is going to end up in a huge plume of smoke. That's talking about that thermonuclear war, because this thing will go nuclear. It'll start with Damascus being destroyed by the Israeli state, and then... you can best believe EMP, and then Babylon the Great, America destroyed in 1 hour. 200 million nuclear missiles will go off. The Lord shall also roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem. This is happening now. That's why we're coming out on the streets and teaching. This is the Lord himself uttering his voice. And the heavens and the earth shall shake, but the Lord will be the hope of his people. And we're telling you, the hope of our people is that you repent, come now back to Yahweh Shai, you know, back to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, you know, and stop partaking in all these wicked festivities. Come back to being Israelites. And the strength of the children of Israel. For you shall know that I am the Lord your God, dwelling in Zion, my holy mountain. And that's representative of the elect of 1/3. Because we are that holy mountain, you know. Those of us that are keeping the commandments, but also coming out and teaching, prophesying. They shall, Jerusalem, be holy, There shall no strangers pass through her anymore. Because the strangers that are in there now are all these heathens, you know. So we're going to reclaim that, you know, from these terrorists, because that's what they are, you know. Esau's the greatest of these terrorists, and we know that Amalek, well, believe it or not, Israeli state, you know, ISIS, you know, just did another attack in Pakistan, so you'll be hearing about that. It's either Pakistan or Afghanistan killing some people, you know, to make you believe that the ISIS group exists, when we know that it's the Israeli Secret Intelligence Services that does these operations. Mossad, if you will. And shall come to pass in that day that the mountains shall drop down new wine, and the hills shall flow with milk, and all the rivers of Judah shall flow with waters, and a fountain shall come forth out of the house of Yahweh, and shall water the valley of Shittim, which basically means, though, that, you know, we're restored. We've returned back and reclaimed our heritage from these heathens. Egypt shall be a desolation. That's talking about America. And Edom shall be desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. That's talking about America, Babylon the Great. But Judah shall dwell forever, and Jerusalem from generation to generation. That's talking about the northern and southern kingdom. All 12 tribes who are coming back now. You know, the 144,000, if you will. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for the Lord dwelleth in Zion. So, basically what's happening now is that in this valley of decision, the valley of Yehoshaphat, is all happening now. You know, Benjamin Notajew is going to be delivering his fucking message, and basically it's going to further bring out this war against Persia, you know, which is pretty much going to lead to the entire World War III. So this is pretty exciting times, as this has been the year of prophecy. We haven't even hit into it yet, but we're just barely getting into May. So I hope this has been edifying, and shalom, and as I get more alerts, I will forward that information. Shalom.